All right, so we're back and diving into another deep dive.
Yeah.
And this time, we're headed into the world of true crime.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So one of our listeners sent us this documentary about, uh, small town church murder mystery kind of thing.
Ooh, classic.
Yeah, like it's like classic whodunit, right? Secrets, hypocrisy, the whole nine yards. So this takes place in Ashford, Virginia. It's this small, idyllic town. And, everything revolves around St. Mark's Church, their church, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the heart of the community. It's that kind of place.
I feel like right off the bat, the documentary makes you question the idea of blind faith.
Right.
Right. Especially when it comes to a figure like, Father Daniel McKinnon. He's like the head priest there.
Right.
He's supposed to be this pillar of the community. But,
Yeah, like the ultimate authority figure.
right, exactly. But,
Well, things aren't always what they seem, are they?
no, definitely not. And this is where Maria Grayson comes in. Beloved member of the church.
Winds up murdered in a closed parish room. I mean, talk about a shock to this seemingly peaceful town.
Yeah, the brutality of the crime scene itself just really undercuts the whole, like, sanctity of the church, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this stark contrast that the filmmaker is deliberately setting up, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, you're forced to think about, darkness, even in sacred spaces.
Absolutely. And then, like, they find a bloody cross near her body.
Oh, wow.
Like, come on, right? It's not exactly subtle. It's like the killer wanted to send a message.
Definitely adds, like, a symbolic layer to the crime.
Right.
It's, like, not just random violence, right? It's something more.
Right.
I feel like even the detectives, Allison Harper and Mark Ridgway, they sense that from the get-go.
Yeah.
They find the crime scene itself, like, strangely off, like brutal, but also eerily clean.
Yeah. And then there's Father Daniel. His alibi is full of holes. Plus, his reaction is just off,
Mm.
like oddly detached.
Yeah.
Especially for a priest who just found a murdered parishioner. It makes you wonder if maybe this whole respectable facade is hiding something more sinister, right?
Totally. Especially when they start hinting at his past.
Yay.
They mention, previous complaints about his, like, harshness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And even, like, a hushed-up investigation or something.
Oh, wow.
It definitely feels like they're setting him up as a suspect,
Yeah.
like planting those seeds of doubt
Yeah, for sure.
from the beginning.
For sure. And then we get to Maria's diary.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how she kept detailed entries? Well, she mentions this recurring figure, this man in black, who seems to be, like, haunting her, even within the church. It's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
There's this growing sense of dread in her words. Like, she knows something is wrong, but she can't quite put her finger on it.
Right. And what about those entries where she talks about, like, a secret plan she's working on?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is where I feel like the documentary starts to shift the focus,
Yeah.
It's not just who killed her, but also what does she know? What secrets was she about to uncover? What might have made her a target?
Right. And you really get a sense of how this murder just tears the town apart,
Yeah.
Ashford is such a small, close-knit community.
Right.
This crime just shatters their sense of safety and trust.
Absolutely. I mean, the impact on Ashford is huge. It's really like a key part of this whole story.
Totally.
It's about, the erosion of trust,
Right.
that shattered sense of community.
Yeah.
This, like, loss of innocence that just permeates everything.
Yeah. It's heavy stuff.
It really makes you wonder, like, can a community ever really recover from something like this?
Right. Yeah. And just when you think it can't get any more complicated, boom, the detectives uncover this bombshell. Father Daniel has a secret son.
What?
Yeah. Not only that, there's evidence of, like, shady financial dealings, large sums of money, a secret house, the whole nine yards.
Classic motive, right.
Right.
Fear of exposure, potential ruin of his, like, carefully crafted life.
Totally. I mean, it definitely makes him a prime suspect, right?
For sure.
Like, the filmmakers are almost daring us to connect the dots,
Right.
And then they introduce this shady private investigator,
Oh, no.
Stephen Fletcher, who was hired by, guess who? Father Daniel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there's even surveillance footage of them together right before Maria's murder.
Yeah.
Like those classic crime dramas where the investigators finally get a break in the case.
Yeah.
This is it.
It's a turning point for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, now we know Father Daniel was trying to hide something.
Right.
Maybe involved in a cover-up, right?
Uh-huh.
This is where the investigation really starts to heat up.
Yeah, and the documentary doesn't shy away from that, that dramatic tension.
No, not at all.
Okay, so remember that intense motel room scene
Oh, yeah.
where they confront Fletcher? He totally cracks under pressure, confesses to everything.
Oh.
Yeah, turns out Father Daniel was terrified that Maria knew about his son and all the financial schemes, so he wanted her silenced. And just like that, this seemingly respectable priest
All right.
becomes the mastermind behind this chilling murder plot.
It's classic,
Yeah,
manipulation, deceit, and then this tragic outcome.
it really makes you think.
It does. And, I think the documentary really highlights the psychological complexity of someone like Father Daniel, too.
Yeah.
You see how someone can present this whole other persona to the world,
Right.
while hiding their true nature.
It's scary, honestly. Like, you think you know someone,
Yeah.
and then bam, it's like everything you thought you knew was a lie?
Exactly. It's like the rug has been pulled out from under you.
Right.
And the documentary forces us to confront this unsettling reality. Darkness can exist anywhere, even in the most unexpected places.
It's true. It's true.
And that's where we'll leave it for now. When we come back, we'll delve into the impact of Father Daniel's crimes on Ashford.
Yeah, the community he was supposed to guide and protect. It's a whole other layer of this story.
Right. It's a story of betrayal, loss, and the struggle to rebuild trust in the face of unimaginable darkness.
We'll be right back after a short break.
It's really wild how Father Daniel's confession just sends these shockwaves through Ashford. The documentary really shows the raw aftermath.
Yeah, like the town is totally grappling with this collective trauma.
Right. Like they have to confront their role in this whole thing,
Yeah, it's like their faith, their belief in their community, it's all shattered.
Exactly. And you see the ripple effects of this crime on individuals who were close to Maria or Father Daniel.
Right, like their lives are changed forever.
It's a reminder that behind all the headlines and the courtroom drama, there are real people picking up the pieces.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that sometimes.
Oh, for sure. And one of the most powerful examples is Lisa Carter.
Oh, yeah, Maria's best friend.
Yeah. She's the one who found Maria's body.
Oh, gosh.
And the documentary really shows her struggle to reconcile her faith with, this betrayal.
Right, like how could this happen? Especially in a place like Ashford.
Right. Imagine that confusion, the anger, the devastation.
It's like her whole world is turned upside down.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then there's Amelia Ross, the church secretary.
Right.
She was so loyal to Father Daniel, almost blindly so.
Yeah, I remember that. But even she had her doubts,
Right.
After the arrest, she's basically ostracized by the community.
It's like classic scapegoating.
Yeah.
When something this shocking happens, people need someone to blame,
It's easier than accepting the truth.
Way easier.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to face the fact that they might have been deceived too.
Right. And then there's John Miller, the journalist.
Oh, yeah. He's a good one.
Yeah, his articles provide this, really insightful analysis of everything.
What I find interesting about him is that he represents this voice of reason,
Right, like he's trying to make sense of this whole mess.
Exactly. He's like, okay, Ashford, time to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the warning signs you missed.
Right. He doesn't let anyone off the hook.
Nope, not at all. Which brings me back to those diary entries about the man in black.
Oh, yeah.
We never find out who that is, do we?
No, it's like this lingering mystery.
Right. Could be a metaphor,
Yeah.
maybe a real person.
Right.
Either way, it adds to the whole idea that there are always secrets.
Yeah, things we don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget those letters they found in Father Daniel's thing.
Oh, yeah, the cryptic ones.
Yeah. Hinting at some past mistake, an unacceptable sin.
Right, like they heavily imply he had this whole other life before Ashford.
Yeah. A relationship that ended badly or something?
Yeah. And we never find out about his son's mother either, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Is it that same woman? What happened between them? So many questions.
It's like the filmmakers are saying, hey, even with the confession, there's more to this story.
Right. The truth is way more complex than we think.
Exactly. It makes you question everything you see,
Absolutely. It's like we only get a tiny piece of the whole picture.
Yeah. So, what do we do with that? How do we move forward knowing that?
That's a great question. And it leads to something I want our listeners to think about. If a community like Ashford can be shattered like this, what does that say about trust? About the facades we all maintain?
That's a tough one.
Right. It makes you think about those masks we wear, the versions of ourselves we show the world.
And how well we really know the people around us.
Even those we think we trust the most.
Yeah.
It's pretty chilling when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I think it's important to think about these things,
Absolutely. It's a call to action, really. We need to look closer at our communities, the people we surround ourselves with, and be more aware.
Yeah, we can't just accept things at face value.
Right. We have to question, observe, speak up when something feels wrong.
Like trust but verify,
Right,
right?
exactly. This case is bigger than just one town, one church. It's about power, blind faith, and facing uncomfortable truths.
And those issues are everywhere, in every community.
So it's up to us to be vigilant, to work towards a world where trust isn't so easily exploited.
That's a good point. What do you think is the most important thing people should take away from this documentary?
I think it's the idea that healing takes time.
Mm.
Ashford is trying to rebuild trust, but it's a process, not a quick fix.
Right. There are going to be setbacks, anger, resentment. It's not going to be easy.
But hopefully, through honest conversations and facing the truth, they can move forward. Maybe even be stronger than before.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's just crazy to think that this could happen in a place like Ashford, you know?
I know, right? Like a town built on faith and community, and then bam.
Exactly.
It really makes you think, like, where is truly safe?
Right. It's like this documentary is making us look at the shadows in our own communities.
Yeah, it's unsettling for sure.
Yeah.
Like, evil doesn't always look like how we think it should. Right?
Yeah, it can be hiding in plain sight.
Wearing a mask of respectability, even?
And thinking back to Maria's diary,
Yeah.
she was picking up on those inconsistencies, those cracks in Father Daniel's facade.
Right, like, she mentions feeling watched, even trapped.
But it's like she doesn't quite grasp the danger.
It's almost like she's circling a truth she can't fully articulate.
Yeah, and that's what makes her story so relatable, so compelling.
Right. Like, how many of us have felt that something's off, but we just ignore it?
Oh, totally. All the time.
Maria's story is like a cautionary tale, Trust your gut.
Yeah, for sure. It also makes you wonder about Father Daniel's psychology, right?
Yeah, like, how do you live a double life for so long? That level of manipulation, control.
It's frightening.
It is. And that's where, criminal psychology can help us understand.
Oh, how so?
Well, there's this concept called the dark triad.
The dark triad.
Yeah, it's like a cluster of personality traits.
Yeah.
Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy.
Oh, wow.
And when they're combined, it can create individuals who are charming, persuasive,
Right.
but also incredibly ruthless.
So you're saying Father Daniel might fit this profile?
It's definitely possible. Think about his position of power.
Yeah, head priest, ultimate authority.
People trusted him without question.
Right, so he could easily exploit that trust.
Especially with those darker tendencies.
Okay, so then what can we learn from all of this, beyond the horror of the crime itself?
Well, for one, it shows the need for vigilance, for critical thinking.
Even with those we trust the most?
Yeah. Questioning, observing, not just taking things at face value.
Like that saying, trust but verify.
Exactly. We have to pay attention to the inconsistencies and speak up when something feels wrong.
Don't be afraid to question authority.
Right. And this isn't just about one town or one crime, It reflects these bigger societal issues.
Like what?
Abuse of power, blind faith, struggling to reconcile our beliefs with reality.
Right, those are everywhere, in every community.
And it's up to all of us to be aware, be vigilant, and create a world where trust isn't so easily abused.
That's powerful. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's this. The truth can be messy and complicated.
Right, and sometimes painful.
But facing those uncomfortable truths, that's how we learn and grow.
And ultimately protect ourselves in our community.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a truly fascinating and thought-provoking conversation. Thank you for sharing your insights with us.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope this has sparked some important conversations and inspired you to look a little closer at the world around you. Until next time, keep asking questions and stay curious.